Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 11th of November, 2022. I'm here with psychic medium and remote viewer, Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
Great, thank you. I'm excited to do this one. I'd never heard of this lady until you spoke about her. And I happened to watch one of her videos and I really like her a lot. She just has this natural ability to draw people in a very positive way.
Okay. All right. I've watched a couple of the videos, but nothing recently. So I have no, I know you wanted to pick up on this after watching. So, okay, what should we? Okay, so she has been an astrologer, channeler, author, and financial advisor, a musician and spiritual coach, and she's been practicing astrology for over 40 years. So
it shows. So what is interesting is she put out a video recently talking about just an overview of 23 going into 24.
Okay.
And I actually agree with what she has to say. She said something along the lines of, it's going to be a slow processing year. You're going to have to really sort through a lot of things in your life. Those people that like instant gratification will be like sadly, disappointed, because that's not going to happen in 2023. It's not going to be one of those very fast moving years where everything's great, everything's wonderful. The stock markets are producing money, cryptos are up, everybody's making money, people are getting pay rises, lots of people are on holiday spending money. It's not going to be that, folks. It really isn't. And she basically, in a nice way, and she's very nice, said that, you will be processing a lot of information, a lot of life lessons in 2023. And I agree with her on that.
Okay. What specifically did she say then? Can you elaborate on some of those?
From memory, it was, she was talking about the Mars retrograde and the Mercury retrograde, which we can break that down further. There's going to be a long period of Mars and Mercury retrograde, which will affect us greatly. And we're going to see that at least 2 or 3 times next year, which isn't good. I mean, anybody who's, when Mercury retrograde is around, right? Because it is severe. So she said those are going to be the times where you're going to get a lot of these life lessons coming into play, and you're going to have to sort through them. Now, I believe when you sort through this next year, mentally and emotionally, and you're not expecting miracles, instead you are the miracle. You're looking inwardly. You are saying to yourself, I am worthy. I am, I do deserve these good things. And that's what you do when you're processing and sorting, right? Your conscious mind may say, I love me. I want all this stuff. Yes, yes, yes. But then internally, your subconscious and your soul overrides your conscious mind. So when she's talking about the Mercury retrograde and the Mars retrograde coming into effect, you will have to let go of the conscious mind thinking, and you will have to do this internal healing and processing. When you come out the other side, and we're going into 2024, which is going to be a financial recovery year for most places, then you're going to reach an awakening period. But I liked what she had to say.
Right. Okay. Well, you have me at a slight disadvantage because I didn't watch that particular video, so I'm not sure. I mean, we have done many readings, and we've come to the conclusion prior that 23 is completely flat and not good. So
No, it's not good at all.
And only right at the very end of 23, is there any signs of recovery or any signs of anything? And that's basically in the US first. I mean, Europe is not going to see anything next year. So I think
no. And for the UK, the mess that you're all in at the moment, your recovery is going to be much slower, and Europe is going to be much slower than the USA. It really is, unfortunately.
I agree.
Yeah, but I really like her energy. Can you pull up Cliff High for me, please?
Yeah,
I don't know why Spirit are telling me to move on to Cliff High, but he's always a good one to check in with.
Uncle Cliff, as he's affectionately known.
Uncle Cliff. I do like Cliff very much. I like the way he comes across. Yeah, here we go. That's a good one.
This one?
No, yeah, he's a good. I like Cliff. He has really good intentions. Okay. So let's move Cliff High out into let's go to the end of December. Now, the first thing that's coming through to me is he has not been well. Okay. Let's go December 31st, 2023, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cliff, what's going on? And this is a mind probe. So for those of you new, he is not sitting in the room with me. I'm doing a mind probe. Go back through all my other videos. What's going on? I don't feel like he's been well this year. So going into 2023, I feel like he's felt very low. It's almost like he's not very enthusiastic about the way the world is going. He tends to really, really take on and absorb the energy, the political energy going on around him, the, world energy, the atmosphere. He really absorbs it. Not in a good way. That's not good. But I like him. I like him very much. What would you like to ask Cliff for about 2023?
So was the outcome of the 2022 midterm elections, did that sort of set him on a path, a sort of downwards sort of thing? Or you say he does take on these things. So was there anything in those elections or after those elections that wasn't good for him?
That's a good question. And I know you've followed Cliff for years. What about the midterm elections? How's that made you feel? Like, okay, so here he's saying it's making him lose hope, right? The America that we know, or of course that he loves, is losing. And I understand what he's saying here, because it's almost like that American exceptionalism has faded out.
Okay.
Now, I know from the political headlines, the press and the media are really trying to push DeSantis as their choice for Republican candidate. Right now, I think Joe Biden said he was planning to run. I'm not sure if he will, but we'll see. As we get closer to the time, the more accurate the predictions become. But did the media pressure DeSantis to run? No. You see, every time I check in and I see whether DeSantis is going to be the Republican frontrunner, I get a no. So unless something really changes or something has really managed to persuade him, he has zero interest in running the country.
Okay, can we ask Cliff, in November 2022, in one of his videos, he was talking about the you know, these people who want to stop oil and things like that, and he said that there would, you know, they would be an issue going forward. Have they still been an issue in 2023?
That's a good question. I read about where somebody couldn't even get to their own father's funeral because they just stopped the traffic on the M25 for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, that is just heartbreaking. Whether they like oil or not, you know, you shouldn't stop people from attending funerals and getting to the hospital. And they would never get away with that over here. They just, you try that in my state, you will be shot at close range. Okay. Did the stop oil people, have they managed to take a back seat? No, they're stronger than ever before. So in 2023, did they still keep on with their campaigns? Yes, and they've also modified their campaigns as well. They're worse than ever.
Are they, I mean, where are they the worst? In the UK, in Europe, or in America? I mean, where's it hitting? Where's it impacting?
They're starting to hit America. They're starting to hit like the art museums and things like that. But they don't get away with that kind of stuff over here like they do over there. How are they hitting the UK? Yes, I feel like they're hitting Europe. The UK in particular. The UK is very tolerant of them. So the UK is seeing the worst effect. This is not going away anytime soon. These people, and that was a hit, by the way, these people are being paid to do this disruptive behavior. Okay. Now I'm all for environment and all of that, but I think there's ways and means of showing, you know, a protest without having to stop ambulances from getting to the hospital. And that was a hit. Remember we did the video where I said, these people are being paid. And then it came out a few days later that they were actually being trained and being paid to do so. So this is why you have this strong incentive. These people are being paid. People that otherwise would not have jobs anywhere else.
Also, yeah, but they're also brainwashed by the people who are brainwashing them and flying around in their own jets. So, I mean, they are ideologues. They don't understand. They really don't understand. You know, they really do not understand that we do not create energy. All we do is change it. You know, Cliff made a very important. I think it was. I'll have to come back to what it was exactly, but the entire output of the sun energy in 1 hour is greater than the entire consumption of energy on the planet for 1 year.
Okay, let's ask the sun that question. Should we ask the sun or the earth?
Well, the energy comes from the sun.
Okay, I'll probe the sun. What exactly is the question, please?
Well, it's measured that does 1 hour's worth of energy from the sun cover the entire world consumption of energy over 1 year?
No. It's approximately 3 to 4. Wait, does it cover 3? Are you saying 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah, okay.
No, 3 to 4 years. Let's break that question down.
3. Okay.
Because I'm not understanding what it's telling me.
Right. So the output of the sun is measured in kilojoules, I believe. It's measured in kilojoules. That's obviously an Earth measurement. The sun wouldn't understand that. It just puts out energy, doesn't it?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So the output of the sun is, I think what Cliff recently said was there was about an hour's worth of output from the sun was equivalent to all of the energy that we use on planet Earth in 1 year. So in other words, we are actually very bad at, there's so much energy coming from the sun, but most of it is wasted. We don't know what to do with it. We do not.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I got. It's like, okay, yes, the sun puts out a lot of energy, but we're only getting a small fraction of that energy, right? That is
right.
I got that.
Okay. But the numbers, yeah, I mean, because it's energy, it can be measured and calculated. Yeah.
Right. There has to be a better way to harness the power of the sun.
Yeah.
We could live, the sun is telling me, we could live on the power of sun alone. But we just haven't figured out a way to harness the energy. And once we harness it, you have to be able to modify that energy. So you're harnessing the energy, and then you're putting things in place that actually modifies that energy, right? Almost like a prism. You know, when the sun shines through a prism, it can change, you know, you'll see different colors. It's almost like showing me a prism that if you harness the energy, put it through a prism, expand on it, we could do so much more with solar energy. We just don't have the brain power to figure it out at the moment.
Right. But the point is that these activists who, you know, who are blaming everybody and everything don't understand that, you know, we do not create the energy. All we do is transform the energy. And we're not even that good at it, because whether it's an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours worth of energy, the sun puts out so much energy. And, you know, even if it's a day, let's say it's a day's worth, you know, that it takes a day to power the whole of the planet for 1 year. Yeah. One of the problems is there's, you know, there's no money in saying things like that, because what these people want to do, of course, is to make you feel bad and then tax you.
Right. Their time, I'm getting this very strongly, their time would be better spent as researchers and scientists trying to figure out an alternative.
Whose time? The kids that are jumping on the motorway bandwagon. I mean, they're not capable of getting a minimum wage job, are they? So they're not going to be doing this research science, are they? They're not capable of doing it.
No, but if that would be where their time would be better spent.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of this can be worked out just by using the internet. They can, you know, do, a lot of people have done a lot of research on this. I mean, where did Cliff, for example, get this sort of, you know, amount? And even if he's not quite right, even if he's 10 to the power out or whatever, then, you know, if it's as I said, he thinks it's an hour, let's say it's 24 hours or 20 hours, you know, the sun puts out so much energy per day, per year, and we only use a fraction of it globally.
You know, we're pretty pathetic in that way, aren't we? I mean, it's not great. We should have found a better way.
Well, okay, but then there's a lot of people who, you know, I mean, oil companies don't want a change to oil companies. Oil companies want us to use oil, otherwise their business model goes.
Right,
You know.
just like tobacco companies want us to smoke cigarettes. I totally get it. But when you're looking out 200 years from now, 1 to 2, more close to 150 to 200 years, I don't actually see people living, certainly on the mass scale that we do now, in houses. I see us living in these raised pods. So our houses will become pods, and they'll be off the ground, and they'll almost be like solar pods, right? We're harnessing that energy. You know, it's all windows. We're opening our blinds during the day. We're not going to have this type of freedom that we do now. So for instance, you can live in a house, big or small. If you have the money, you can buy a massive house. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. That's just such a big headache, but whatever. I have friends that have a really big house. Well, I've got friends that have really big houses, and they literally go from one room to the next with their toolbox fixing that house all day long. It's just crazy. What a waste of time. But I see us living in these pods, elevated off the ground. We're doing more, farming and growing. We're harnessing water. We're harnessing the sun. So we do make significant changes in the future, and building houses like we build them now, I feel like that will be banned. And again, we got the same with the cattle farming. There will be no more red meat in the future. And when I say the future, I mean like 150, 200 years out. Well, why does that affect me? Well, it will, because you'll be reincarnated and you'll most likely be around at that time. We won't have milk from cows. We won't have red meat. If we do have red meat, it will be bought on the black market, underground market, and it will be a delicacy, right? We won't have cattle farming.
Okay.
Let me ask Cliff, have you ever picked up on the fact in your program that cattle farming will be abolished someday? Yes, see, there you go. Several times. He says several times he's picked that up.
Okay. Ask him what has happened, if anything, to the Federal Reserve.
It's still intact. The Federal Reserve is still intact. They're just ticking along. He does not have a lot of, he has not any strong positive emotions about the Federal Reserve. I feel like he's very anti-bank, anti-Federal Reserve. I don't know. You followed him for a while. I mean, can you agree with that?
Yeah, he's constantly forecasting the end of the Federal Reserve, but I just keep thinking that's more wishful thinking. So
no, I don't see the end of the Federal Reserve. You have to understand, the people at one time, many hundreds of years ago, we had that sort of power. Okay. When we're pioneers, and, I'm saying I wasn't a pioneer because my family are British, but, and they've only recently just come over, right? They weren't here all those years ago. Well, we were powerful because the government was small. Okay. At that time, the government was small. Yes, England was still in control. But then, even when that was done away with, the government was fairly small. We had the power to the people. Now, the government is so big, they're not going to get rid of the Federal Reserve. I'm sorry. I've probed that so many times. It just doesn't happen.
Okay. What's happened to the crypto market all year?
Is the crypto market doing well for 2023? It's holding up, barely, but it's holding up. And then today, we've seen this FTX exchange plummet. Folks, there's more of that to come. You're going to start to see these smaller exchanges come crashing down. If we get another big crash, like we had experienced earlier on in the year, and it's really bad, you're going to see more and more exchanges collapse. You need to be careful.
Yeah, let's ask Cliff, have any more major crypto exchanges collapsed?
Crypto exchanges collapsed in the past year. Yes.
Ooh. In America?
All over the world.
When did that happen?
When did the major crypto exchanges go like bust or bankrupt? I feel like towards the end of this year, going into next year, you're going to see more and more crypto exchanges not having the liquidity. I don't know what they're doing with the money.
Okay. Let's drop him. Let's just pick on one. Kraken.
Okay.
Put Kraken out to 2023, December.
Okay, so December 31st, 2023, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, what would you like to know?
Are they still in existence in Europe and in America?
I feel like they are, but they said we're restricted.
Restricted by what, for what, and by whom, and to do what? I mean, what is the restriction?
Restricted. On what they can do. I feel like they're being heavily monitored and they're quite restricted. Have you had any leaks or bankruptcies or anything like that? They're on the verge. I'm telling you, these exchanges, they're not doing well.
When did all the big problems for Kraken? Because I mean, Kraken in November 2022 is okay, is it not?
Yes, but I feel like these exchanges are going to be exposed ever more, and their liquidity is going to
when
be
does it
exposed.
happen? Can we ask Kraken when it happens?
I feel like around the new year time, it's not just Kraken. I feel like this is going to put a lot of exchanges into question.
Right. So in the new year, like January 2023, yeah?
Probably more January to April. So, that first part of the year, you're going to see heavy scrutiny onto these exchanges.
Did the crash, did the sort of late November, December crash? I mean, is that what precipitated this? Is this what sort of started the rot setting in?
No, I feel like it's December.
It's December, right? Okay. Okay. Have you still got Cliff?
Yes.
Okay. Is he still out in December 2023?
Yes.
Is he still producing videos on his BitChute channel?
Yes. But I also feel like he has the videos somewhere else as well.
Okay. Is he still writing on his Substack?
Not as much.
Okay.
What's a Substack?
It's just like an online portal where you can write things and express opinions and things like that. So just he has a Substack account, so as do many people, and you could just publish things on there. It's just another landing place to sort of air your views, if you like.
Oh, okay.
Seems to be quite reasonable. It's certainly, you don't, it's free to join, you don't have to pay or anything. So yeah, some of them, I think it's, these are more censorship or resistant platforms, I think. So, people are moving to those from, some of the more mainstream ones that they're dropping because of the censorship all the time. So,
Right. Yes, the censorship is real.
Yeah, and it affects everybody. So, and it's it's been Yeah. Ask him how is he aware? Is the I'll speak today. Is the censorship still as bad at the end of 2023? Ask him that.
Did you put your teeth back in? How's the censorship? Is it 2023? It's terrible. Worse than ever before. Did Elon Musk taking over Twitter have any effect on the censorship? Yes, it does have an effect on the censorship, and it becomes more polarized. So whereas Elon Musk Twitter is, more censorship free, now you're going to see YouTube really cracking down. So it's going to polarize the social media even more.
Right.
You're going to go into two camps. You're going to go into the Twitter camp, or you're going to go into the YouTube camp.
Okay. How does he think Elon Musk has done then?
How do you think Elon Musk has done? He hasn't done nearly what he wanted to do and what people hoped that he would do. He's finding it extremely difficult. In Cliff's words, he is at war with the government.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Did anything happen with gold or silver of note in 2023?
No, it's relatively the same. Gold has gone up a little, but not for what he had hoped for. Why was he putting out like there would be a rise in prices, like big rise?
No, not specifically, but I mean, he's made silver predictions for sure in the past that have not come true. $600 silver.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was in a case, but he also said that in a world of $600 silver, you would not want to live in that world. It would be like Mad Max. So that's one prediction. I'm glad that hasn't come true.
Right. But if we had $600 silver prices, what Spirit are telling me is that it would all be relative. So whereas silver is what, $20 today, you magnify, you would multiply, 20 times whatever, how much times X is it to 600?
Yeah, 30 times. Yeah.
Right. 30 times. See, there you go. I was waiting for you to get your calculator out. You haven't had it out this week.
Actually, Liz, I don't need a calculator. Thank you.
Oh, right. Okay, Brainiac. So the cost, everything else would align with that. So in a world where there's $600 silver, you're going to pay 30 times the amount of everything now.
Right. So a $2 loaf of bread is $60. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's what Spirit are giving me. It's all relative. So the price of silver is relative to the cost of living.
Right, but I think what a lot of people were hoping for, obviously, that silver would break away from that and go, shooting skywards, and that might go to sort of $200, $300, $400 or whatever, but bread would only double or treble, if you know what I mean. Because if everything goes up relative, then nothing goes up.
Okay. No, I don't see a breakaway.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think this was a pretty good probe. I mean, we went.
One more question, please. Have you still got Cliff?
Yes.
Ask him what advice would his future self give his current self or anybody else in November 2022?
What advice?
How to survive the upcoming year or so.
The upcoming year, 2023. What advice would you give? Focus on yourself. Focus on your own individual being, your own wealth building. Try to tune out from what's going on in the world. Try to find some elements of happiness somewhere. If you're basing your happiness solely on financial markets, then you're going to have a very bad year.
Yeah.
I think that's sound advice. I do.
Yeah. Well, I like the bit of focus on yourself, because obviously all the bad actors, governments and everything, they always want you to get involved with all the stuff they're not, stuff they're doing. But at the end of the day, we can't change any of that. Let them get on with it,
Yes,
like I said, we should tune it out.
that is absolutely true. So I think this was a good probe. Hopefully it provided some clarity as to what is coming up in 2023. Just a quick announcement, guys. I'm so sorry, but this morning, my calendar for regular psychic readings and regular CTT sessions has been halted. Okay, yes, that was done purposely. Nobody's hacked in. Because, guys, I was booking out 6 months in advance on those. Now, the VIP are still available and the paper readings are still available. That calendar will open up again in the new year, but it was just becoming too much. You should never plan that far ahead. And I think 6 months is sufficient. I was going to end up being booked out into into May. I was already booked out full in April. So in the new year, I will open up that calendar again. I just wanted to give it a cooling down period. But again, the VIP, I know it's more expensive. That still is available. And the paper readings are still available. If you're looking for some CTT healing, then I would say until that calendar opens back up, join the Patreon. I'm telling you, we do CTT healing every Monday, and you do feel the benefit. And with the Patreon cost, it's like just over $3 a week. You are not going to find that healing anywhere else that's only over $3 a week, right? I mean, that's just unheard of. But I like to be inclusive and include as many people as I can. Obviously, I have to charge something to keep it up and running, but we did just donate a load of money to charity for music scholarships for kids. So we do that every year with the Patreon money. A large portion of it, these music scholarships are several $1,000s. So anyway, that is just the news that I have to give to you all. But that calendar will reopen in the beginning of the year, of the new year. So thank you very much, Mr. Shakespeare. I think this has been quite informative, and I appreciate everything that you do. And I know that everybody else does as well. Thank you.